चैनल। सो आज की वीडियो में हम देखने वाले हैं लिस्ट इंडेक्सिंग एंड स्लाइसिंग. So first we'll see how we can access the element from the list by using their index, and then we'll see how we can update the element or change, and also we're gonna see the slicing, that positive slicing and negative slicing, or we can say how we can access the portion of the list to create a sublist. So let's see the accessing element from the list by using their index. So for that we first we see the syntax. So here we pass the list name and along with the index of that element. That when we want to access some element from the list, then we pass the list name and in the square bracket we pass their index. So this syntax accesses the element from the specific index within the list, and we can update the element of the specific index by using this syntax. And list are 0 in. When we create the list, then the first element always has a 0th index and second element has a 1, and so on till the end, and end is always length minus 1 because our length always start with 1. So let's see the example of this. Suppose I have a list 1 equal to, I'm passing the element 1 2 3 4 5, and as we see here, this is a 0 index, so the first element always has a 0th index, second 1, third element have a second 2 index, fourth element have a index 3, and fifth element have a index 4. So when we add the indexing here, so index when you pass the index here, first element have a index 0, second have 1 2, third element, fourth element 3, and fourth. And when we pass the length here, so first element have a length 1, second 2, third 4, and 5. So as we seen, our index start from 0 and length always start with 1. So this is our length, that how it count the length, and this is how it count the index. So I'm taking an example which is list 1, and I want to access the element from this list by using indexing. So what I'll do, I'll pass the list 1 and I want to access the element 3, so I'll pass the index of this element which is 0 1 2, which is second index. As we seen here, index start from 0, so the third element have an index 2, so I'll get 3 here. Suppose I want to pass element 1, so then I'll pass index list 1, and in the square bracket I pass the index of that element which is 0th index. जैसे कि हमने देखा, the first element, that 1 have a 0th index. So when we execute this, we'll get a 1. So this is how we can access the element by using their index. Now we'll see how we can update the element in the list. So for that we use the syntax. Syntax is equal to, we pass the first, we pass list name, and here we pass the index, that the element which we want to update. Here we pass the item, or we can say here we pass the element that we want to update. Suppose here I am creating one list which is list 2, and I am creating the list which include the integer value and the string. And suppose I want to instead of, so in the list 2, instead of Python, I want to update, or I want to get there 100 or some integer value which I'll pass 100. So what I'll do, I'll give a index here where I want to change that element. So what is the index of this Python? So we count from here 0 1 2, and this is a Python have a index 3. So I'll pass index 3 is equal to, I want, instead of Python, I want the integer value which is 100. So when I'll execute this, then I'll get the updated list, which is 100 instead of that Python. And same this we can pass the index of that element, and it's equal to whatever the item we want instead of that particular element. We'll pass here using this syntax. So this is how we can change the element from the list by using list indexing. So now we'll see the slicing. So slicing, which means extracting the sublist from the list. So this extract the portion of the list to create new sublist, and we have specified starting index. Here the syntax for this slicing. So we pass list name, or whatever they will give the list name, we pass it here, and start index included, end index excluded, and step. Step means how many steps that we want from the starting and end index. So when we can specify start index, that start index will get included, end index we specify the end index which get excluded, and the step, the value to define how to jump through the list while extracting the element. That as I said, जब भी हमें start and end index पास करेंगे list slicing के लिए, so start index always include होगा, end index exclude होगा, which means end -1 होगा, and step, that how many step or how many element that I want to from start and end element. So that we write here 1, which included the integer value which is 3, 4, 5, or anything that you want, you can pass it here. And now I want just element 2, 3, 4 and 5. I want element 2, 3, 4, 5 only. I don't want a whole list. So what I'll do, I'm using the slice. What the slicing is, so here we pass start index and end index, which are start index included, end index excluded, and step. By default is step, it will take every single step by default, and so we'll get continuous value from start to end index. Suppose I want, as I said, I want portion 2, 3, 4, 5 only, this element. Then what I'll do, I'll pass the start index which is 0, 1, that 2 have index 1, and I want until 5. So when I count the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 element has index 4. So what I'll do, I have to pass 5 here, because our start index always included and end index item will get excluded. So that's why I have to pass, instead of 4, I have to pass index 5, because when it will happen like 5 minus 1, which is 4. So when I give the 4 here, then I'll get only 2, 3, 4 number, but I want 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and here step will be empty, that automatically take continuous value, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. जब भी हम एंड इंडेक्स पास करेंगे तो वो एक्सक्लूड हो जाएगा. सो इसलिए हमें जब भी हम एंड इंडेक्स पास करेंगे, सो वी हैव टू पास increment by 1, which is incremental by 1. So we'll get a whole portion. Now let's see how the step will get work. Suppose I want the element 1, 3, 5 and 7 only. I don't want a whole list, and also I don't want the element contained in the continuous way. So what I'll do, I'll pass the starting index which is 0. I want element from 0 and until the end index. So I'll let it empty end index. When we want whole list, then we don't need to write any end index here. We can let it empty. And now I want element, every second element from the first position. So I'll pass 2 here, step 2, and now I'm get 1, 3, 5, 7, every second element from start to end position. So this is how work positive slicing, and this is we call positive slicing, which is start, include, end, exclude, and step. So now we see the negative slicing. So here syntax for that negative slicing. So here we pass the list name, and end. Here end, we initially we write the end value, that how much portion of the list that we want. End included and start will get excluded, and steps. So list, as we see, lists are zero indexed, so it start from indexing start from 0, that first element have index 0 and second one and so on. In the negative indices, they put the position counting backward from the end of the list to the forward, which means then the start of the list, forward direction. So and it referred -1 refer the last element, -2 refers at the second last. Negative index always start hota hai last element to first element, which is backward direction. So last element have a index -1, second last -2, -3, like that. Let's see the example so you will get a clear idea about it. Suppose I am passing the one list which is again 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. So this is how the negative index will get assigned to that list element of the list. So as we see in here, the index backward direction from the end of the list to the as we see in here, that negative indexing always start from end of the list to the start of the list, and the last element refer the -1 as index, second last -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7. So this is backward direction to the which is the end of the list to the start of the list, and this is how the negative indexing will get assigned. So now I want to get some portion by using negative slicing. So what I'll do, suppose I want to get this element which is 4 5 6 7. So what I'll do, I'll pass the list 1, and now here our syntax says that we initially we pass the end that will get included and start excluded and the step. So how much portion that I want, so this is our start in the negative slicing and this is our end. So I want element 4 which is negative index -4 and start from -1. So I want 4 5 6 1, so -1. So as we see in here, start index will get excluded. I want here 7 as well, but when I pass -1, then I won't get 7. I'll just get a 4 5 6. So that's why I'll let it empty. So when we keep it empty, then we will get the whole element from the position end to start here. And also I want the continuous element, so I'll pass a step which is empty, so we'll get a continuous element which is 4 5 6 7. And suppose I want element like 2 3 4 5, this portion, then what I'll do, I'll pass the list 1 and I want the end index which is I want element 2 3 4 5, so end index will be -6. So I'll pass -6 here, and my start index which is I want element 2 3 4 5 6 7, sorry, I want element 2 3 4 5, so start index -3, but when I'll pass -3 it will get excluded, so definitely I'll miss my element which is 5. So for that I have to pass the start index, that I'll get the list which is I'm looking for, that -3 until that item having the index which is -3. So that's why I have to pass here -2, because when it will get excluded, I'll get the list this. And yeah, I'll let the step is empty because now also I want a continuous element which is 2 3. And suppose I want a reverse list without using reverse function, so with using slicing only, then I'll pass list 1 and I want whole list which is reverse order. That's why when I give the colon like this and I'll pass -1, so it consider where we want whole elements. So that's why I'm not given any start and end index here, but I'm given step is -1, and as we seen in the negative slicing, start from -1 to backward direction to the which is end of the list to the start of the list. So that's why with this step -1 we'll get all element in the reverse order. So this is our reverse list. So this is how we can get the element by using slicing. So in the next video we're gonna see the most important function of the list. So that's it for this video. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, stay tuned. Bye bye.